Hi everyone, this afternoon on the marketplace, supply of petroleum products on the market is set to improve significantly following progress made in resolving loading challenges that affected oil marketing companies over the weekend. Meanwhile, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors strongly denies accusations that some of its members are engaged in product hoarding to cash in on expected price hikes from next Monday. We'll hear from the CEO. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us. First up, supply of petroleum products on the market is set to improve significantly. This follows progress made in resolving the loading challenges that affected oil marketing companies over the weekend. Details in the following report.
Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. This progress was made after it engaged the National Petroleum Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, and their expected service providers to urgently address the matter. All the interested parties have agreed to decouple the ICAMS platform from the ERDMS system to allow what they call manual loading. It is believed that this approach should help normalize things from today. The loading challenges, which started over the weekend, made it difficult for majority of the oil marketing companies. The development impacted these marketing companies, which resulted in some experiencing shortages of products at their various service stations across the country. Some market players even tried to link it to oil marketing companies trying to hoard products now to cash in on the expected increase in fuel prices from March 16, 2028. Meanwhile, the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies have indicated that fuel prices could hit 17 Ghana cedis per litre from next Monday if the current conditions doesn't normalize in the coming days. They are concerned that the negative impact of this development could result in inflation going up in the coming months, so there's some negative impact on the broader economy going forward.
Meanwhile, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors has strongly denied accusations that some of its members are engaged in product hoarding to cash in on expected price hikes from next Monday, March 16. Dr. Kweku Ofori is Chief Executive of the Chamber. He joins me on Zoom. Good afternoon to you. So you're strongly rejecting those claims. Where are they emanating from?
According to the Chamber,
your viewers, and I don't know if it's on the radio, then to your listeners as well. Basically, I think we were just the easiest target when there were even technical difficulties, as George stated in his reports to you. So when these challenges started over the weekend, initially it was blame on the ICOMS. The ICOMS also felt that the integration with, I think, another service provider, the ERDMS, was what the challenge were. So it took all of us our intervention for the issue to be resolved. But why do I respond and say that these arguments are baseless? They are baseless in the sense that unless you are not really familiar or conversant with how we operate, our market is hugely undercapitalized. Most of the products that we sell are being financed by the banks and the international oil trading companies. So you mean to say that there is a local BBC who can have access to product of a cargo that is worth over $50 million and decide to hold on to the product after triggering the price on the day that I'll sell it the following window, despite the excess volatility that we're all anticipating, because we were all concerned that Ghana, majority or most of our gold is exported to Dubai. Dubai airport has been closed, and the Asian market was virtually also on the verge of closing. So how were we going to, how was the country going to get forex to support our trading transaction? And when you decide to take these decisions, it can impact on your activities, because one, you don't control the international prices. We've also noticed just yesterday that prices have dropped, the Brent price have dropped. So normally when such accusations are going on, you clearly can say that it's coming from a place of either misinformation or ignorance. Not only that, we also have limited infrastructure facility for you to do that. Currently, there are some vessels that were supposed to even discharge that were having issues with haulage, because the delay started over the weekend. So why is it that these dominant players who still control the vessels coming in would want to hoard and then incur demurrages on the other side? When you do the math, it doesn't add up. And clearly, these are things that we feel that when we become the easy target, and when prices were even falling, nobody were passing it on to the market because of the competition among ourselves, that each and every one of us want to dispose of the product. There comes also those who are financing the product, who will allow you, when your payment is due Friday, knowing that the market is closing, that you need to settle down, for them to release other products that are on financial hold to you, that they will encourage you to engage in set prices. At what cost to all the banks or the people who are financing the trade? So all these concerns were a bit worrying to our members. So we challenge the regulator, and we also challenge those who are making the allegations, that I think it's about time that you name and shame, so that at least we get to know who is actually sabotaging or who is also doing the right thing. And that was why earlier on, when I spoke to George, I said they should have access to the MPA portal and check the volume that we've sold. Those who have made commitment, there is none of them that we fail to honor those obligations to them, or we giving any excuses. So it was very disheartening to hear some industry experts passing comment that impugn on our integrity as a business, ethical business group.
That bulk distributors have raised their prices significantly. Is that true? And how do we ensure prices remain fair and transparent for small oil marketing companies?
So that is also another aspect that we need to also encourage, educate the public about. Normally, petroleum products, or like any other commodity trading, it's not like our normal buy and sell that happens in the marketplace, that when you have money, you go and you pay. There are pricing mechanisms that are being adopted. There are others who would want to say that, well, I want to offer 2 weekly average pricing, and then or 1 week average, or I'll trigger the price on a day. But as our market has evolved over the years, let me give you a clear example what happened somewhere last year. Most of our members who were in the 2-week window average, by the time that you are expecting your vessel to discharge, the vessel may be on demurrage because the laycan has been tweaked or has been changed, that were impacting on them. So you realize that by the time you even have access to your product, pricing is already beating you up, because you don't even have access to the product to sell. Then also comes the competition that some of the leading oil marketing companies brought to the market by going out to tender for their volumes. So when they are tendering for their volumes, what you then need to do is that for you to win that bid, you are competing among your colleagues. So normally, a chunk of them will want to trigger the daily spot prices, so that they are competitive, should in case the price in the last few days have gone down. He doesn't want to lock himself up to a weekly window or a 2-week average pricing mechanism. So you look at currently what is happening within the space. About 80% of our members, or 80% of their pricing mechanism, they do what we term as the spot trading or the trigger on the day, so that you remain competitive to be able to sell. And then you do maybe other to just hedge yourself and to cushion yourself. You just use another weekly average so that on both cases, you are not so much exposed. Fortunately for us, even crude that others perceive that you can go through and sell and negotiate on a monthly agreement. We are very close and familiar with some IOTCs who are supplying crude to the local refineries. Most of them, knowing the dangers of their exposure, have returned the market a weekly window, a weekly average. And basically, if you pick cumulatively in the last week, prices have gone up. So if you are even if I'm giving you a weekly average, it is expected that prices will definitely go up. But based on also competition among ourselves, you cannot necessarily push all onto the market. You need to find other derivative ways of ensuring that you remain competitive to be able to offload your product and to also get cash to settle your banks.
Right. I'm going to ask you two questions. I know what is happening on the international market is quite overwhelming, but I'm just also wondering from your end how consumers can be protected from these sudden spikes while maintaining ethical competition among your members. Also, how is all of this impacting on operations of businesses under the chamber?
I can confidently say that for product supply security, the country is sorted. About 8 cargoes up to the end of the month has already been booked and has been confirmed. The vessels are on their way here. As I'm speaking to you, we have about 3 to 4 vessels that are at the anchorage. So in terms of product supply security, the country is sorted. And the good thing is also that we have about 30% of our demand being made by the local production. So I don't have issues with regards to product shortage or availability. But the dynamics about the pricing is what most likely is going to go up. And this is where we need, as a country, to take advantage of this and then invest in the right kind of infrastructure to even have access to some of these storage mechanisms. I'm comfortable and confident after some engagement that we've had with 2 key major sector ministers. And I think with the proposals and the discussions going on, they are firmly in control. And if the need be, the required government institutions will come in with mitigation measures. And we are all on our own meeting each other to ensure that we don't pass on prices that may also be detrimental to our own businesses and then also the consumers, in order to also not to have any form of a negative reputation, to also protect our brand. So we are constantly in touch with key government stakeholders, and we are confident that even if there is going to be any increase, we will all come up with something that will mitigate the burden that the average consumer will face. And my extended family members and people in Pankrono and friends in Boga can be confident that it's not going to be something that we are going to go at their throat.
All right. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that. Dr. Patrick Kweku-Ofori, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, thank you so much for your time here on The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we've got the exchange. We'll be talking about developments in the global oil market and how it's going to impact us here locally. Welcome back. Time for the Tuesday exchange, and global benchmark Brent crude fell by as much as 11% before recovering some of the losses. The sharp drop followed a dramatic trading session on Monday that recorded the biggest intraday price swing on record. Now, President Donald Trump's attempts to calm the market have pushed oil futures lower. He says the United States could waive oil-related sanctions and deploy the U.S. Navy to escort tankers through the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the Tema Oil Refinery is preparing to increase its production capacity as part of renewed efforts to strengthen operations and boost output. The refinery is currently undertaking technical processes to expand its processing capability from 28,000 barrels per stream to 5,000 barrels per stream day. The expansion forms part of broader plans to revitalize the facility and enhance its contribution to Ghana's petroleum sector. Joining me is Executive Director of the Africa Sustainable Energy Center, Engineer Justice Ohina Koto, to discuss developments in the oil market. Good afternoon to you. So, how significant is the drop in global oil prices following Donald Trump's remarks that the war in Iran could end soon on Ghana's local fuel market and consumer prices? We're currently hovering around $90 a barrel.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Darrow, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners as well. Yes, the remarks has had a major influence on the oil prices. We saw that before the remarks, it was almost moving to $115 per barrel, and right after that, we see the drop to about $90 per barrel this morning. Yeah, so it has have a major influence on it. And the other one too is that now the Strait of Hormuz has been a bit open for trade, and then as the U.S. mentioned, they are also going to protect their vessels as well to get some of those vessels to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So significantly, this remarks by Donald Trump has had a major effect, and on the Ghanaian market, surely it's also directly going to affect the Ghanaian market. Anything that happens within a global increase directly affects the Ghanaian market as well. So that is a positive news anyway. But yeah.
So we're beginning to see supply challenges here in Ghana. It could be artificial, but you just had the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors denying accusations of hoarding in anticipation of price increases. Is this to be expected, and how do we go around this challenge?
Yeah, so it's in two ways. You know, there's a regulatory bit of it, and there's an attitudinal bit of it. With the regulatory bit of it, I'll say the MPA has done a good job in the past, and they are still doing a good job in the regulation. So if we can have a more stringent measures to be able to curb some of this in the future, that would help. But with the regulatory, MPA is doing a good job. I feel they can do better. The other bit is the attitude now. It's basically the Ghanaian businessman or the businessman mentality. The idea is that you hoard it at a time where there's a need, so that basic demand and supply. So that way, that if you have more and the price increases, you can introduce yours into the price. So the attitudinal bit too, we also have a part to play as a people. And then if we get the MPA to have a more stringent measures to be able to curb some of these things, that would help.
So the Tema Oil Refinery is planning to increase production from 28,000 to 45,000 barrels per stream day. How will that impact on the national fuel supply and stability?
Yes, I think one of the good things that has happened to us in the past few months is the Tema Oil Refineries coming back online, right? We can just imagine if Tor was closed by this time, what we are going to find ourselves in. You see, this whole oil stuff is not just at the pumps. Ghana has a lot of industries who have boilers. Most of them depend on this HFO and those oil and gas issues. So if there's any shortage, it's not only going to affect prices at the pumps, it's also going to have an effect on job security as well. So that is one thing that we need to keep an eye to. So surely this increment by Tema Oil Refinery is a step in the right direction, and even more, we should be able to have more investment in infrastructure for the refinery to be able to curb or to be able to produce to the maximum that the Ghanaians need. Another thing we need to pay attention to it is that Tor usually buys the fuel from outside to refine. And then if there's any issues outside regarding the global market is still going to affect it. So this is where we need to streamline.
All right.
If we can invest into the capacity of Thor to be able to refine the oil and gas that we have in-house in Ghana, that would be a better approach and then a better way for us as Ghanaians.
All right, we've run out of time, unfortunately. Justice Ohia Koto, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Sustainable Energy, or Africa's Sustainable Energy Center, rather. Thank you so much for your time here on The Marketplace. Appreciate it. We'll continue the conversation later. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. A day's latest stories, including Thermal Oil Refinery planning to boost capacity to 45,000 barrels a day. myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.